Good morning. Thanks for attending today. We acknowledge that we are located in the traditional and treaty territory of Mississauga and Mississauga of the Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nation. The Cobourg Police Service respectfully acknowledge that the Williams Treaties First Nations have been stewards and caretakers of these lands and water, and that today remain vigilant over the health and integrity for generations to come. We are all treaty people. We're here this morning to provide an update to the community about the ongoing investigation into thefts from vehicles that have been plaguing our community over the last little while. During October and November 2021, we saw a significant increase in the amount of these thefts. A total of 53 reports that we know of were reported to us. However, we know this is just the tip of the iceberg. With this significant increase, our members shifted their focus towards addressing this community safety issue by leveraging the skills of our people and our tiered policing model. Our members have worked tirelessly to address the issue, and we have utilized all levels: our uniformed officers, our criminal investigative branch, our scenes of crimes officers, special constables, hard work by the crime analyst, and our auxiliary members to ensure we are working effectively to reduce these occurrences. To date, over 1,100 cars have been checked through the Lock It or Lose It campaign, specifically targeted into specific neighborhoods. Thanks to the great work of our members, we are here today to provide you with an update. Constable Danielle McKean, who is here with me today, was the lead investigator in this small project and has worked very tirelessly to pull together these incidents and coordinate between all of the different departments our results today. Thank you to the community members and the business owners who are and still have provided us with video and updated reports. Community safety is our shared responsibility, and the cooperation that you provide the police greatly help us. I'll now turn it over to Constable McKean, who will share some more.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. As the Chief mentioned, we noticed an increase in entries to vehicles and directed our resources. You can see on the plotted map beside me here, 53 reports of thefts from motor vehicles in October and November of this year. For the large part, these incidents have taken place in residential neighborhoods after dark, and motor vehicles have been the main target. In 10 of these occurrences, windows have been smashed to gain entry to the vehicle. In other cases, suspects gained entry through unlocked doors. In all occurrences, personal property was taken from the vehicles. The most common types of personal property taken were wallets, money, and electronic devices. We've been able to identify several persons of interest through video surveillance provided by residents, as well as businesses in town, through our crime analysts tracking occurrences, and as well as uniformed officers on patrol identifying suspicious persons and effecting arrests. Officers on the road have directed patrols in key areas, and our auxiliary members continue to run targeted crime prevention through the Lock It or Lose It program and crime prevention through environmental design program. As of this morning, 6 people have been arrested in relation to these occurrences and 33 charges have been laid. In addition to that, we have 2 warrants for one resident of Port Hope and one resident of the town of Cobourg. The investigation is ongoing, and it is anticipated that more people will be identified and more arrests will be made and more charges will be laid. Anyone with any information is encouraged to call the police. As we continue to ensure community safety, I encourage everyone to take some proactive measures to reduce the chance of falling victim to property crimes. Always lock your car doors and remove any valuables from sight. If they are in there, make sure that they are out of sight. Likewise, lock your shed doors and close the overhead garage doors. Ensure you have working overhead lights and sensory lights. Above all else, please, if you're a victim of theft from a motor vehicle or any crime, file a report immediately. You can report online, in person, or anonymously through Crime Stoppers. Or you can call 911 if there's an emergency or you witness a crime in progress. Reporting incidents of crime to the police immediately increases our chances to collect evidence, to canvass for witnesses and surveillance, and also to identify any persons of interest in the area at the time. The investigation is ongoing, and we remain committed to working to ensure everyone is safe and feels safe in our community. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Danielle. In wrapping this up, I think it's very, very important that we really truly understand the impact that this has on the perception of safety in our community. Our chair of the board, Dean Pepper, is here today representing the board in that voice that the public have. And everybody in our service, including the board, have been advised and are aware that this is a problem for our community. When we were looking at addressing these issues, we want to remind people that leaving those items in their car make your vehicle a prime target. We have received lots of video footage from various homes where the cars weren't entered. So we can see clearly that people are identifying a target of choice and are removing those items that Constable McKean mentioned. Our goal here today is to remind the community that our principal focus is community safety. We want everyone to be safe and feel safe, and that is a message that I reiterate at every one of these events. Right now, I have heard from many people that they feel that the thefts from autos do not make them feel safe. So we are here to indicate that we are working on it. We're responsive to the needs of our communities, and the great work by Danielle putting all this together and bringing these individuals before the courts is truly remarkable, and just a clear sign about the great work that our members do here and able to pivot to address the community's needs. So at this point, that concludes our brief press conference, and I'm available for any questions.
Do you consider this, it's petty, but it's frustrating for everybody involved? And is it, some people have said previously that, oh, it's best to leave the doors unlocked because that way they don't break the windows. But I guess the root of the problem is to keep things out of sight, out of mind.
Sure. Yeah, so we don't use the term petty crime. So for some of these people, these 53 incidents, this may be the first reason for them to pick up the phone and call the police. So for them, it's not petty. It's an intrusion of their private property, let alone when their wallets are stolen and they have to go through all of the process of getting new identification and new credit cards. And it is definitely annoying, to say the least. So we need to hear from the community. I know a lot of people don't report these crimes because they feel it's just small, it's just how they went, or there's an embarrassment factor. We need to hear from the community that this is important. We also hear through our community survey that there are those in our community who want this kind of data more regularly. So when our strat plan is finally approved through the Police Services Board in early 2022, you'll see a more embedded crime analytics tool on our website, which will give people the real-time opportunity to see what's happening in their neighborhoods.
The special constables, I believe you said they checked 1,100 vehicles. Obviously, well, not obviously, but some were unlocked, some were locked. But have they gone back to check to see if there's a repeat occurrences with the ones that were unlocked?
Yeah, so it's our auxiliary crew that really have been managing the lock it and lose it, and they are actually in targeted areas. So what they're doing is they're identifying those areas from our crime analysts where we need to be very present. And of those 1,100, I'm not sure exactly what percentage were fail rates, but I know they do definitely return to the same neighborhoods.
The main target of, you believe the main target of people maybe doing crimes like this, drugs?
You know what, it's that ready access. I know a lot of the investigative process enabled our people to locate them through the use of the stolen credit cards and debit cards. So I hasten to say that they're just using the money for drugs, but our social disorders that exist in our community are definitely drivers to this.
And frustrating for you because since the release was put out yesterday identifying the victims, identifying the suspects, a lot of the suspects are repeat, and they're saying again the bail process. Can you say a few words on that?
Yeah, listen, this is not new. This is not news for me to say this. We know the problem. We know this is the same names that we've seen for 3 and 4 years in a row here. Again, it goes back to your earlier question about, is this a petty crime? No, this is theft. This is a criminal offense. This makes people feel unsafe. This creates a perception that their vehicle or their property isn't safe. And it's the same people time and time and time again. We really need a full and wholesome approach that starts with the courts to hold people accountable and follows right through to rehabilitation. We've got great diversionary programs for youth involved in this, but as you saw from the press release, this is not what we're dealing with.
A lot of the times, last question, a lot of the times some of these people get they're done the process at the police station before the police are done their reports.
Oh, listen, the efforts that Councilman McKee's put in putting this package together is tireless. As recent as this morning, one of these people were arrested. The paperwork isn't done, and it will never be done before people are generally back on the road and in some cases recommitting. Great, thank you very much for attending, and as always, please lock it or lose it.